What up? This your boy Random Reese here with your Week 2 NFL recap. Man, I mean, we got the Patriots, we got the Chiefs. We expected those guys to be good. Eagles kind of shaky. They could have pulled out that one. Nelson Aguilar dropped a wide open touchdown pass. He was going to score easy, and then he catch the crazy one in between traffic. That's what I would give. So Eagles started off 1-1. AFC West, we got Baltimore Ravens. They looking good. AFC just look like a three-team race. The Chiefs and the Ravens. Ravens got a solid defense. Lamar Jackson is showing great touch with his throwing ability this year, way better than last year. He definitely worked on his game during the off season. The speed is there. Put up 120 yards rushing last week. The deep ball. He has Marquise Hollywood Brown, Andrew, some rookie tight ends. They got a nice, solid team. They got the best. They got maybe the best front office after the Patriots. You know, because they keep their team together. They know how to turn their team around. They know how to keep solid players there. They know when to get rid of the veterans. They don't get rid of them too early. They get rid of them like right at the right time. You know, even though Suggs had a solid game last week or 2 weeks ago. So it's basically a three-team race. AFC South is going to be a slugfight. Everybody's okay. I mean, Jacksonville's looking. Who knows what Jacksonville looking like? But everybody else is looking pretty solid. Patrick, speaking of the Jaguars, Ramsey asked for a trade after getting into a fight with Doug Marrone, the head coach, and rightfully so. Like, if you're not going to win, if you're not going to put a quality team out there to compete, then when you're a player of his caliber, you can force a trade. Some people call it selfish, but at the same time, if a GM trades him, then what? If he's on a team playing his best and the GM trades him, no one says anything at all. No one ever says anything when the GM trades a player. But when a player requests a trade, everyone's all up in an uproar. Like, nah, it's player mobility. Let him leave. Like, let him leave. Like, you know what I mean? If he wants to leave, let him go because he doesn't want to be there. You didn't put a solid team around him. Now, if you want a winning team, you want to get traded, that's a little different. But when you're on a bad team, you've been here for a few years, you want the best in the game. If you want to leave, ask out because you can already see that it's not my fault we're losing. I didn't put enough players around us. Let us leave. Minka Fitzpatrick, the safety from the Dolphins, just got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers today, and he asked for a trade because he saw that the Dolphins were trying to tank. So if you're trying to tank and you don't want to be there, why would you stay there? How can you go through 16 games of an entire season, put your heart out onto the field, knowing you have no chance to win, no chance to make the playoffs? And then people say, "Oh, they could try and win. You never know what can happen." No, if they don't have enough talent around them, they're not going to win. You know, they're tanking for a reason. They train off their best players to acquire enough assets to rebuild. There's nothing wrong with that, but let them know. You know, and on the flip side of that, when teams tank, shout out to Sam Hinkie. He is the GOAT. He is the originator of tanking, tanking on a purpose. You know, he didn't make it. He's the originator of tanking. What I mean by that is that he's the originator of tanking because he said he's going to tank and he said he's going to be bad for a few years, but he let his fans know. Now people say, "Oh no, you shouldn't let your fans know." Now it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt ticket sales. Hurt this. No, he let the fans Philadelphia know. Like, look, we're in a rebuild. We're going to be bad for a few years, but then we're going to win. On the flip side of that, he also let the coach know, like, look, I'm hiring you. We're going to rebuild. You got to teach these players, but when we get better, we're going to keep you around. So Brett Brown's still around. Now I'm not sure if he should still be there. He probably got one more year, but he's still around. They didn't tank and then fire him as soon as they got good, and that's trash. Now I think that's going to happen to Brian Flores, the head coach of the Dolphins. They're going to tank for 2 years. They're going to get better in year 3 or year 4, and they're going to fire him in year 1.5. Like sometime next November, he's going to get fired, and then they're going to bring in a new coach, and then that coach is going to look like a genius because he has talent. Brian Flores doesn't have any talent. He doesn't have an offensive line. He doesn't have a quarterback. Like, you can't win with those three things missing, especially offensive line and no solid quarterback. Like Fitzpatrick, Ryan Fitzpatrick is past his time. It's over for him. They need to get Josh Rosen in there, but if you put Rosen in there, then what? There's no offensive line to protect him. He's not going to have time to get the ball off, and he doesn't really have any playmakers. NFC side, NFC, man, a lot of injuries. Saints lost Drew Brees. That's going to hurt them. They got a tough schedule coming up. So it's going to be hard for them to if they get behind an 8 ball and they lose like 4 or 5 of these games while he's out. It's going to be hard for me to see them making the playoffs. What else? But it's pretty much up in the air. I think it's hard for me to say this. I'm not a Cowboys. I'm not. I'm from Philadelphia, but I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm a fan of football. I play too much fantasy football, so I'm just a fan of football. So with the Cowboys, but I hate the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but they look like the class of the AFC. They got a solid defense. Dak Prescott is playing really well. Ezekiel Elliott signed and he's in shape. Like the time in Cabo was not partying. You can see that clearly. He was definitely out there working out, training. He was training with Marshall Falk. So, Marshall Falk was a workout warrior. And then Amari Cooper's playing for a contract. Like if you ever seen first time seeing any of my YouTube videos, I always like to bet on guys in contract years because they got something to prove. So Dak got something to prove. He's seen Wentz get his contract. He's seen Jared Goff get his contract, and he said he wants $40 million a year. People scoffed at it. They said, "Nah, that's way too much." He's like, "Okay, I go out and I'm prove it," and that's what he's doing. He's making a lot of money off the field, so he doesn't really need this money on the field. And I'm pretty sure he has an insurance policy. So if he gets hurt and not have a career-ending injury, he's covered from there as well. So he has the luxury of not signing a contract right now. He's out. He's confident in his ability that he can go out and play his best, and then get the contract on the back end, get the contract next year, or get the contract next year. So I think the Cowboys actually might win the Super Bowl, man. I really do, and I don't like the Cowboys as like it's really the fans. I don't like the Cowboys fans, but Dak seems like a real good guy. It'll be really nice to see a black quarterback win another Super Bowl. I know Russell Wilson won one, but still, I want to see. I want to get to the point where it's not a surprise when a black quarterback wins the Super Bowl. So it's like if Dak wins it this year and Deshaun wins it next year, or if Mahomes wins it next year, or Deshaun wins it next year, or I want to get it to the level where it's not a surprise where a black quarterback wins the Super Bowl. It's just like it's an afterthought, Like I said, so Dak's in the contract year, Amari Cooper's in the contract year, and they playing really well together. And Randall Cobb was a nice signing too. He's a nice signing. I thought he was done, but he's a nice signing for them. They got a real solid squad. What else on the NFL note? The Browns. The Browns won last night. They beat the Jets, but it's the Jets, and they still kind of look shaky. Like Baker Mayfield still doesn't look that great to me. I always thought they weren't going to be this good this year. I had them at 79, 6-10, but 79 is looking like it. But they got a rough stretch right now. They got the next 5 teams they play are 5-0, so it's going to be hard for them to get some wins. They got to be real disciplined. But back to Odell Beckham Jr. Last week he got a lot of flack for wearing that watch, but I mean, really, who cares? Like, I mean, I understand the NFL is strict in their policies. NFL is super strict. They're super strict on a uniform policies. So I get it. He gets a fine. NFL has to talk to him, whatever. If the fine's not too great, he just gonna keep wearing his watch. Last night he wore $1 million for Richard Mille. To top the first one he wore. So, but my thing is that the media, they always harp on these small little things like, oh man, he's selfish. Like, how is that being selfish? He was a show off. So what if he's a show off or not? I mean, Stephen A. Smith mentioned his haircut last night. Oh, he cut the blonde hair off. Then he got some nice clean cut. Like, some of y'all dudes are just so old. Like, I mean, Stephen A. Smith, you do a lot for the culture. You do a lot. But at the same time, some of the stuff you do is just like, some of the stuff you say is just so old school. Like, who cares? His hair doesn't have anything to do with his performance on the field. If he comes out and plays, he plays. If he wears a watch, so what? You want to show off. He can afford the watch. Let him wear the watch. And on the same thing, Rafael Nadal wanted an even more expensive watch, not more than $1 million one, but he wore one that was worth $750,000 in his finals of the U.S. Open. No one says anything. I understand it's a team sport versus individual sport, and tennis, you're not having contact with each other, but nobody said anything about it. They didn't say that Rafael Nadal was too flashy. They didn't say that he was showing off. His watch cost $750,000. It cost 3 times as much as as Odell Beckham's. But they didn't say anything about that. So sometimes these media types they just see one story and they run with it. Like, oh, this big story. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And then everyone they all the same. They all like sheep. They just one person's lead with something and they follow it. They follow it along. Um, Last thing, like I said, injuries. Roethlisberger out. Drew Brees is out. Um, who else is out? The Jets lost two quarterbacks, and everyone's talking about Cap. Now, I had a couple videos about Kaepernick before and expressed my views about him. How I don't think that the risk, not the risk reward, but the media attention reward to having him on your team is worth it. But now with these teams just being so bad, I definitely think he deserves a shot. Will it happen? I doubt it. You know, I doubt it gets a shot because we don't know what was in that clause. I don't think that in his settlement that it said he can't play anymore because he would not be pursuing that if that was the case he would not be pursuing opportunities in the NFL. But on the flip side, now look at it like this: if you're a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, right, and at the time that Kaepernick was a free agent, or it still is a free agent, that you had Ben Roethlisberger, you had your backup quarterback, and that's all you needed. You didn't really need to go out and sign Kaepernick, so he was not in the market for you to play. So his settlement, his lawsuit was against the entire NFL. So if he filed a lawsuit against the entire NFL, but the Pittsburgh Steelers had to pay him money after the lawsuit settled, but they had nothing to do with like the blackball of Colin Kaepernick. Now they would you go out and sign Colin Kaepernick? Like I'm not sure how much his settlement was. Say if his settlement was like it cost every team like 3 or 4 million. It cost every team 4 million or something like that. If it cost them 4 million, like as a team, I gotta go out and sign you again for another 4 million. I already pay you 4 million, but not playing on my team. Even if it was a million, like I'm not sure how much his settlement was, but that's the mindset of some of these owners. These billionaires, they have different mindset. That's why they got to where they at because they act differently than everyone else. They move differently and they think about every single dollar. Like what I mean. Like I read a lot of books about Rich Dad Poor Dad and the Millionaire Next Door and things like that. And these guys have different mindsets than everyone else. So that could be one reason why he's not signed. And another reason people don't know what he got. We don't know what's in the settlement. But if anytime he's going to get signed is right now. The Jets should definitely go out and sign him. I mean, that guy Falk didn't look like anything. The Steelers need a backup. The Saints could use a backup. So if he doesn't get signed right now, he's never getting signed. I hope the media stop bringing it up because after this, he's not getting signed. Because after this, it's pretty much since he's left the NFL, pretty much like 70% of the teams have lost their quarterback, and he hasn't been signed yet. So now, on his standpoint, keep working out. He said he works out at 5 a.m. for 3 hours every single day, 5 days a week. So keep working out, keep doing your thing. But just, I wish the media just let it go. But they not because we know they all sheep. So this is it for this week's recap. And every single week I'm going to give a recap after the NFL of my fantasy football teams. I'm in 4 fantasy football leagues, 3 dynasty leagues, and 1 redraft. Redraft is basically your standard league where you just draft your team every year. A dynasty league, you keep your entire team. It's like a true dynasty. It's like Madden franchise mode. You know what I mean? You keep your entire team. Last year, I won my league that was in the longest. That league is in we have the same 10 people for the last 5 years. But the league's been going on before that. A couple of people, it's been going on for like 10 years. I came in 5 years ago when one of the owners didn't want to take over the team. So I finally won that league. I had Patrick Mahomes in that league, and he got me the W, pretty much. So right now I'm in 1-1 in all 3 of my dynasty leagues, and I'm 2-0 in my redraft league. My redraft league is my former job league. So yeah, so we're looking good right now. We're looking good. Got to make some moves, make some trades, and I keep y'all posted. Yeah, Cowboys Super Bowl early favorites, AFC. It's a 3-team race, and it's going to come down to the team that doesn't have to play the other 2 teams twice. So if that's the Patriots or the Chiefs or the Rams, whoever doesn't have to play one of those teams twice is probably going to make it to the Super Bowl. All right, and I'm out.